Okay, good morning. Welcome to Practical Emotional Intelligence Conversations. And I'm very happy to have you both, Swati and Bhagya. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Yes, welcome both. I think we just keep contradicting ourselves in these calls because we started by saying that there is no agenda, no topics, or nothing like that. But how the conversations are flowing, today a topic came to my mind. So I'm only suggesting, not necessarily that we have to go with it, but just that we talk a lot about fear and facing the fears or handling the fears and things like that. So that was one of the topics that I think in one of the conversations just came up, and I thought might be a good one to ponder upon, to contemplate, and take it forward. Um, I've shared something on the screen. Once again, we don't have to go with it. Just like proposing it. So it's totally up to the group that what we want to talk about today.
We can move ahead with this topic if everyone are on the same page.
Okay. Swati, what do you think?
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I'm okay with the topic.
Okay.
Yeah, all good. It's very interesting because when we took this picture, I have a story, but I think we can discuss and then I'll tell you the story how.
You can tell the story.
Okay. So this was in Rishikesh recently when we were visiting, and this, if you see that this one of these JCB kind of in vehicles, and this is in Ganga. So we were sitting by the shore of the river, and we could see that this vehicle is literally going deep into the water and moving stuff because they were making a new bridge. So Rishikesh already has two bridges which connect the city from one side to the other. And another third, this is the Janki Jhula that they are building now. And very interesting, we saw that this guy had unique ability to drive through water, which is something we have never seen, and it was very risky at the same time.
And against the flow of the river.
And completely, well. I mean, like imagine, and this is Ganga. I mean, it's huge, this span of river, and in that, against the flow of the river, this man did this the whole day. And we were off and on the whole day over there for a yoga retreat. So we saw him, and we were like, my God, what courage and what skill. Both these things were amazing for us. So yeah, that's why I smiled because I also just saw it. Sajjan made something out of it.
So to start the conversation, as we keep talking about fear and a lot of literature, a lot of talks, and it's not uncommon that we talk about how to face the fear, and facing the fear is probably a very searched upon subject or talked about subject as well. It's good. I mean, at some stage we have to talk about it. However, I believe that we are at an advanced stage here in these conversations where we talk about emotional intelligence. And in my opinion, I am putting this forward that we should drop this whole thing around facing the fear itself, because fear is not something that we need to even worry about. To me, fear is an emotion that comes when we are in an unknown territory, when our experience, our knowledge, what we know is not enough, and it makes us uncomfortable. Fear makes us uncomfortable, but I only treat this as an alarm system, and I strongly believe that we shouldn't touch this alarm system at all. We shouldn't do anything about the alarm system. All this setup around facing the fear or how to manage fear and all these things, I feel that we need to move on from there. And rather than doing something about the fear, we should do something about the situation that is creating the fear. So fear will go away by itself. Yeah, and that's it. That's what I'm saying. So thoughts.
But when we are into a situation which has created the fear, okay,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure that how exactly your mind is going to react to it. If you think that, okay, fine, facing the situation will go ahead and like let your fear go away. I'll talk about myself, and there has been 2 or 3 situations where I happen to feel like that. Okay, at night, specifically while during sleeping, okay, if there is complete darkness, there is like I cannot have any visible light of ray or anything as such, that makes me uncomfortable, okay, while sleeping. However, since this entire lockdown situation and everything has started, okay, I have started facing that situation. I'm keeping myself into the complete dark room while to sleep and everything, because that's actually good for your mind to sleep. And somehow that fear is going away. That, okay, fine, I can't go ahead and sleep into a situation where there's complete darkness.
Mm-hmm.
That was one thing. And secondly, when this entire COVID-19 situation has started, every day while sanitizing my complete like cab while going to the office, meeting hell lot of 400 people, okay, or eating the food at times, like due to the situation I was working into the night shift, I was somehow going somewhere around 1 or 2 o'clock during the day timings and returning around 3 o'clock at night. So obviously I did not happen to get time to prepare my own meals, and I was eating the outside food during that duration. So I had some kind of a fear into the back of my mind, what if I get infected with this? And in my current family, like my husband's staying, okay, and due to this entire situation, my sister and my cousin has also moved in since the starting of March. So I had one more fear in the back of my mind, what if I am the only one who is getting infected and coming back to the home? So I was keeping myself quarantined completely, that I don't want these people to come in contact and have any other kind of infection. And after the complete lockdown, okay, so that was like what, 23rd of March and all, that was the week I had to prepare the payroll and all, okay. So I was going to my colleague's place, which was there into the same society, and she was staying in a PG. Again, that kind of fear was there into the back of my mind. What if someone in a PG is infected with the same, okay, and I am going and spending a considerable amount of time while preparing the payroll, which is an ongoing process, and I can't stop it over there because it's not only my salary, it's the salary of the other 400 people. But still, I was taking that kind of a risk. Moving out of my house when the complete country was under the lockdown, and then we were supposed to maintain social distancing, which somehow I was not doing it. And due to which, like this, till like 14th or 15th of April, I'm still have kept myself into the quarantine, considering the fact that I don't know, I might not be infected with any of these things, but then I can't take that kind of a risk, keeping my family into the like saying that, okay, fine, what if I am found positive and they are also coming in contact with me and they are also found positive for the same. So I actually kept one of my baggage ready that, okay, fine, if anything as such will happen and I have to go and get tested and I get positive, so it's okay. That was there into my mind.
Right.
How are you feeling now?
Better. Like, I don't think so that all these things have gone completely now. Because had it been the situation that I was got infected or anything as such, any of the symptoms might have shown by now.
Yeah, it's already been 15 days or more. It's already 17 days.
Right. And then sickness and everything happens to me in a way that at any point in time during the entire year, if I'm falling sick, that happens to be one of the major diseases, okay. So if I talk about me, way back in 2016, I was detected with tuberculosis, okay. So the medication went for approximately a year. Post that, there has not been even any kind of sickness where I'm getting fever or anything as such. So I know if something is going to happen, it will be a major one only. So that's why I keep myself very much precautious, specifically related to the food and everything.
Makes sense. So a lot of times our past references also bring fear. And similar to what you are saying, I've also suffered a lot in terms of my health. So definitely, I am also like, every day, I don't know how true it is, but I do the hot gargles. The gargles, they said that you do a hot water gargle for, if you are infected and it's on the surface, it helps. Just as a precautionary order, not out of fear, but as precaution. I do that every day. In fact, I don't even know whether it is going to work or not. But initially, when this thing came out of China, they said two things that has helped in China were these hot water gargles and tea. So, although I don't drink tea, but I have taken tea once in a while, and I've also done this. But I feel, yes, when we have a past reference of sickness, fear does get its way to kind of take us on a ride also. I relate to this.
Swati, your thoughts?
Okay. So ideally, always like to explore. So whatever it is, I don't have fear as such of anything. Emotional level, yes, but not with the such a situational things. I am not afraid of. I have this habit of, like करते हैं ना देखते हैं बाद में जो होगा वो देखा जाएगा. So I always do it and then think of it. Oh, इससे ये भी हो सकता था. So this is what it is. But I feel when I get afraid of is about getting into any relationship or knowing someone else, or if that person hurts me, what is going to happen, or changing any job. Basically, trusting someone, I do immediately, and then I have the fear that, this I must have not done because might be this will turn into this thing. So this kind of thing I have a fear of. Rest or is not. But then I feel if this will happen, so we think in future. So that's the reason we have fear of, like the thing. So, for example, I don't ride bike because I had 2-3 accidents before. So my family also not prefer to give me any two-wheeler or four-wheeler. They're like, you should go with a cab or bus or anything like that. So it is all in my mind. Oh, this will happen. Might be this may lead to this. When we see any accident or anything, this may lead to this. So we are afraid of it. And I guess more mature we are, we get more afraid because we know what kind of result it will give. So that's the reason I guess we all are afraid of something in our life.
Okay, great. So listening to all this, just another thing that came to my mind here is that although we are talking about fear, so this is I'm trying to differentiate this very subtle, fine hairline difference between in this. So we talk about fear, and then when that comes, uncomfortable sensation in our body gets created, and we don't like it, so we want to get rid of it. Then people will try to meditate or do something to actually feel better. You don't want to continue in that feeling. So that's that. But these examples that we are using now, very quickly fear turns into worry. Are we not really talking about worry, and we continue to use the word fear here? Aren't these two things different, or you think these two things same?
No, these two things are different, and you're somewhat right.
Yeah, I also agree too.
So we are more worried. We are weaving threads around what will happen, this happen, that happens, if this there, and all that. That pattern of over-analysis of the situation or whatever, even analysis of the situation, is creating more fear, is creating more discomfort. But again, that's not really fear. That's still we are worrying.
And that too when we know that we cannot do anything about the situation.
Yeah, the Dalai Lama says something on that, on a similar line. Yeah, you say it.
So if there is something you can do, then you do it. If something cannot, what is that?
If you can do something about it, then there is no point worrying. And if you can't do anything about it, then worrying will not help. So either way, worrying will not help.
But I feel that what you said is also fear, but at the same time, worry, I feel, is a form of fear only. So is anxiety, so is many other things, right? Like they are like fruits of, but at the root of it, it is fear, and then come up as if we are worrying or we are anxious or we are, I don't know, paranoid. All these are like fruits of the same root emotion.
Well, so my take on this is that worry is more of a thought process. So you cannot have worry if you don't think about it. Thinking creates worry.
Yeah.
Right?
I also really believe in
that. It requires some efforts from our side to create worry. But fear is an emotion that gets created. We are not even thinking. And worry does create fear, and this is what that is what I'm trying to say, that isn't it like a very fine difference between these two things, and we sometimes don't understand whether we are afraid or whether we are worried. It just, they both feed each other.
And I don't think so before today's conversation I ever tried differentiating between both of them.
Same here.
Also, I feel worry is something that we also, like I'm just sharing from someone else who might be worried. Like if you go and talk to a colleague or a neighbor or someone else who says, oh my God, this COVID-19 and this has happened, in the next lane there were 4 positives or whatever, and that worry gets passed on.
There is only one thing that comes out of worry, in my opinion. I am open to hear your thoughts. I only think that worry only creates one thing, and that is fear. Worry creates no solutions.
Yeah.
Yeah, that absolutely.
Worry creates fear. Yes.
Yeah. There is a proverb in Hindi which my father always says. चिंता और चिता में सिर्फ एक अनुस्वार का फर्क है.
Yes, I agree. I heard it sometime back.
That's where it will take you.
Yeah, my father is a very brave person in that case. We have seen very, very bad days in our past, and like really terrible and very pressing situations, but I have never really seen him worried. He's always in an action mode, and sometimes he takes decisions which are not the best ones, but still he's always kept his spirits up with this one sentence. And it's not like a show of courage, but at the same time I feel because he's so constructive, he's able to handle and tackle a lot of crises that we have seen in the past.
So I think it might be a good idea to now maybe discuss the purpose of worry, or what is the usefulness of worry then. So
there has to be some benefit why we do it.
I think fear has benefit. I personally think that fear is very good, because every time fear comes, it tells us that we are not enough. We need to uplift our game. We need to uplift ourselves, and
there's still room of improvement.
So I feel, so as an analogy, I'll say that it's something like, let's say you have a fire alarm at home and you have fire at home. So as soon as you have fire at home and alarm is beeping, you don't go and just smash the alarm because it's making noise. You do something about the fire. You don't do anything to the alarm. You probably feel good that the alarm is working. You're actually thankful. I see fear that way. It's an alarm system. It's telling you that something is not right, and you need to act on it. Just because we don't want to act on it, I think maybe we don't like the situation, we don't like the change that it is bringing. We probably go into the worry mode and start thinking about the fear, start thinking about the alarm. So we want the alarm to just shut off because it's making us uncomfortable. Whereas my belief is that it's the best thing. It's our best friend. Why you want to do anything about it? Let it ring, let it come. And if I become bigger, if I become better, alarm will quiet by itself. Why do I have to work on quietening the alarm? That's what I feel. That's what my belief is. So in that context, what is the role of worry? The role of fear is clear to me. The role of worry is not that much clear to me. Any comment?
You're absolutely true in a way. And since there is no comment as such, because I never happened to think it into that perspective, I never happened to think it into that way.
I think worrying helps us cope with the anxiety that comes with that in that moment. I mean, that's how I think I use worry. Because I feel anxious about something uncertain, and it's my coping mechanism.
But does it help? Does worrying help you to calm down, or it makes you even more afraid?
Then I can go, complain to you or my family or someone around, and then share my worry with other people and let them calm me down. Not feel worried, I was going to say. But I mean, sometimes they also get worried along with me, but sometimes it also helps me get another perspective. I feel worry is a coping mechanism for me at this moment. A lot of times I use that as a coping mechanism for anxiety that comes.
Okay.
There's another example of worry that I would like to give upon. Okay. My grandfather moved in early 50s to Nagaland while he got a government job over there. Okay, and my granny, she took care of my father since then on her own, and he used to visit like maybe once or twice in 1 year or 2 years, something like that. And since past 4 to 5 years, he has not been coming out and all. Okay, because he's somewhat not comfortable walking that a lot. Okay. And he does not wanted any one of us to come and visit him over there. So none in our family has visited to Nagaland so far now. And due to which my mother is in constant worry almost after every, like we do keep on talking a lot, okay, with him as well. Like every once in a week I speak to him and my family speaks to him and all. But he has moved into his 90s. At the same time, he is a writer, okay, so he gets his peace of mind over there. And he says that I really don't want to leave that place and come to Varanasi, which is my hometown, okay, because I would actually have nothing to do. After getting his retirement in 97, he has been writing several books, okay, he knows more than 20 languages. He runs a school which is like funded by one of his students, okay. So entire trust thing and everything, entire paperwork and everything, he takes care of it because he's the highly educated person over there. So somehow he feels that, okay, this is my family so far now, okay, and I can't leave my students just like that and come back and my entire responsibility. And at this stage, when my mother and father, both of them are there into their 50s, so at times they feel that I don't know what the society is going to talk about us, that, okay, fine, their single parent is alive, okay, my granny is no longer. And we are, as a family, are not taking care of him also. We have left him just like that into a remote location. So that is a constant worry my parents happen to have. And when I talk to them, I try to make them realize that, okay, he has his own life. He has been living that life for more than 50 years now. And if you guys wanted to make any change into it now, it's not going to happen. So no point in worrying about it. Let him live the way he wanted to. Because he has always been into a secluded kind of a life, even when my father was into a younger situation and all, okay. And my granny happens to take care of everything, and she never wanted to live there into a remote location without her family and without her relatives nearby. So that's how the things have been there.
That's a very good example. I can relate to that example because very similar situation with my parents as well. So my hometown is Faridabad, and my parents stay there. And I used to ask them that why don't you move to Pune? It's a nice place over here, and they both have got health issues and all that as well. So not serious health issues or anything, just age-related health issues, and they are old now. But I thought that it would be nice if they come and live closer. I live in Pune, but they've always said the same thing, that we like this place, and they've grown up there. We've grown up in that place and all that, so they're connected to that place. They don't want to leave it and all that. So I used to worry about that part before, and then last year something just dropped. I just kind of became very comfortable with that situation or with that decision that they don't want to, and it just dropped in a moment. It just dropped, that entire feeling of me thinking, overthinking this, that, and I just, that's what it is. That's what it is. And yeah. But until I was worrying about that situation, I could, other than bad emotions and all that, nothing constructive had ever came out of that thought process. That's what I can confirm from my side. And this line, that chinta chita ke saman, I think this is what it is, that all these bad emotions in us releases so much chemical combinations, cocktails of things in our body that then the body has to process, and then different kind of ailments and diseases just come out, or depression and all those things come out because that's what is happening. The body just responds to us worrying, and we don't know what we are doing to our own physiology because of that.
So that's what, like in my family, whenever I worry, I look at my grandfather and I said, okay, fine. He is into his 90s. He does not happen to have any kind of worries. He is living the life he always wanted to. Okay.
Exactly.
Then why exactly am I worrying so much?
Exactly. I had the same thought process as well, that why I am jumping so much up and down when my parents are saying they are okay.
Right. And the similar situation with all of us right now is that, okay, my parents, my in-laws, they all are in Varanasi, okay. But if I wanted them to come and stay with me, okay, both of them have never agreed that they wanted to come and permanently stay in Delhi NCR and all. And obviously due to our jobs and everything, we can't go ahead and relocate to Varanasi permanently. So that's how the things are there, okay, that at a certain point in time, whatever the places we have grown onto, okay, we have to leave that place. Like, if I talk about me, my father was born and brought up in Nagpur. Okay, my granny relocated to Nagpur post grandfather moved to Nagaland because all her brothers and everyone was staying over there. And I was born there in Nagpur. Okay, I was brought up there till, like, I believe we shifted to Varanasi in 2000, early 2000 and all. Okay, so I have lived at multiple places. So I never got attached to any one particular city. In Varanasi also, I stayed there hardly for 6-7 years. After completing my graduation, I moved to Delhi, not knowing the fact whether I'll get a job or not, but I was sure that I do not want to stay there permanently. And moreover, like, since past 3-4 years, my sister has also moved to Delhi, doing her preparations in all of the government exams. My brother has completed his 12th last year, so most likely he'll be also moving out in a year or so. But we cannot force our parents to leave that place and then move with any one of us. They can keep traveling, but they won't move permanently. That we are sure of. And we can't keep worrying about it.
I also feel it's not fair to ask them. Like my parents also, all of us, all my siblings also are in Pune. It's only my parents who stayed back. I'm from Amravati. And it's a small place, they have their own social circle. Both of them they're very passionate about their respective fields and they're very actively working even after retirement. I think they have amazing life there. They have their friends and they have things they relate to. In Pune, I'm sure they'll take very long to kind of just get adjusted, and now it's not the age for me to ask or even demand such a thing. So it's just, I feel they are really settled. So we also had this effort, me and my siblings, that, early on when my brother settled here, that my parents kind of come here and all that. After 2 years, so we also gave up. And now I see the beauty of it. When I came out of the worry part, and that worry not came out, actually it just dropped for me one fine day in one of these Diwali conversations, when they told us that how beautiful their life is. They said that, like, you have a social circle over there and you have a life over there, we have a life there. We don't want to disrupt it. Now I see the beauty that they have over there. And I see that the kind of friends they have and the things they do that actually into their own garden is very important for them to be mentally and emotionally healthy, to be healthy. So, and physically also, because these are smaller places, it's lesser pollution, lesser pesticides and things like that. So, and overall then I felt a sense of responsibility. I think that was the third phase, where now we take turns to go and visit each other. We have like a calendar once in 2 months where everybody visits everybody, things like that. So I think the 3 phases I have seen were like worry, then seeing the beauty, and now taking the responsibility to act. Yeah. So that's how we have all, and now we literally all of us have come out of that. All my siblings and my brother-in-law, my sister-in-law, all of us. Yeah.
Okay. And the question that we were exploring on that part is that what is the use of it? What is the use of worry? So in your opinion, what does it give us?
In my
in the
opinion,
sense, like a positive sense.
Worry gives. Yeah. Okay. So in my case, I always feel worry is. Till date, I was thinking that worry is a bad emotion and worry is a negative expression. So we should leave it. Till date, I was thinking in that way. I never ever thought of, okay, I'm worried and that is good. That is fine. That I never thought of. So might be from today onwards I'll observe in this way. But till date, it was always a negative expression. So I always, on this corona also, I had posted on my Instagram that corona is not gonna affect us, literally gonna affect each and every one of us if we will take proper care. But the fear of that corona, that thinking and all the negative news you are listening continuously and getting worried about it will affect definitely our health. And might be, this is what my thinking was, that if we will worry about something, that will come to us anyhow. Because our mind is thinking about it, we are negative about it. That's the reason it will come to us. So this is what my thinking till date. But today onwards, I'll try practicing this. That if I'm worried, so what are the positive aspects of it? I'll think on it from today onwards.
Okay. So trying to create some kind of conclusion out of this so far. Ambika mentioned that worry helps her to maybe cope up in a way. So when she's worried, then she can complain about it or kind of give us a license to complain, and sometimes complaining is good to let
him not do anything about it. I
yeah
think that is also something. If I don't want to take action, I love to worry.
yeah obviously this is procrastination.
Yeah,
That is that. But I'm trying to find good use of worry right now. So that is what I'm trying to find. So um, to me, what she said around complaining, I find that personally, I never thought that way, but now since we are talking, um, I think complaining helps. Like I sometimes like to complain as well because it helps to clear. Once if I have something is frustrating or irritating me and all that, and if I have complaint and all that about it, once it comes out of my chest, then I can then think clearly after that. Until it's just in my head and I can't talk to anyone about it, um, I feel that I'm blocked. I feel that I can't move forward. I have to complain. So when I'm in the worry mode, it kind of gives me a license to complain, because everybody else, whoever I'm complaining to, they can also see that I'm worried. So kind of give me a license that okay, it's okay, go ahead, complain. So I find that that's a good use of worry so far. So what do you think? In your opinion, what's a good use of worry?
Is that like whatever the profiles are coming across onto my LinkedIn or anything as such, even the students who are approaching for the internships and everything, I know I can't then help them out at this point in time, though I'm also worried that I do not know what exactly will be the situation into my organization next month or post and that, okay, in terms of the workforce or how exactly we are going to cope up. So in the meanwhile, I'm talking to those candidates, okay, and trying to refer them into my network wherever there is a job opportunity relevant to their profile. This is what I'm using of my worry at the moment.
Okay.
I feel worry will give us pointers. It will give us a perspective of a third person into the situation, and we may note down or observe some pointers. And as you said, why we are hitting, like why we are worried about that, we are worried. Instead of, we should think about the situation which leads us into this, or the solution kind of thing we can find out with the worry. So, the root cause analysis we can do, and, the pointers from which we can get into the solution for that situation or the problem or whatever the thing is.
True. And I feel that if we are doing that, if we are doing all that, then the fear part gets taken care of automatically. So what we try to work on the fear because we don't want to work on the situation. If we work on the situation, then I personally feel there is no need to work on the fear, because fear is like fever. You can never treat fever. When it comes, you treat it, but you cannot get rid of fever. For the rest of your life, you'll get fever again.
Right. I would like to contradict you over here. Likewise, I might have a fear that next month my salary and everything will not be into the place. Okay. Let's keep it like that way. I know that I cannot do anything about that situation. I know that into the market at this point in time, if I go ahead and look out at the job opportunities and all, I might not have the relevant one as per the way I'm currently handling the position, okay, and the way I wanted a next add-on responsibilities in my next organization, okay. So with this current situation, I cannot do anything about it. So obviously, I'll work on to my fear.
But then again, we are saying, once again, I think that's this very fine line you just crossed. Are you now talking about worry or fear? It started as a fear.
Right.
But aren't you worried?
In a way, yes.
Yeah.
I also picked up something when you guys were sharing. What happens is when fear comes, I don't want to face it. Let's say that I don't want to feel that I am scared. To not be scared, it is a good way to process that fear into something else, and then that becomes either positive psychology. Let's find a ray of hope, or finding a ray of, oh, I'm going to, or some people are like, I never face fear, I'm like this, or whatever, like any positive
can't
emotion.
even show fear because
Exactly.
especially men.
It's not nice to show fear or acknowledge also that I am facing fear, and that is also one of the ways in which we can see that fear is not felt fully.
It's like a weakness.
It's like a weakness.
It's seen as a weakness.
Because if I show and tell someone that I'm very, very worried about something, or I'm very, very scared of something, I don't know, because it's not also part of our culture, no? To hold fear very well as a positive thing. So it's not about positive, negative. In emotional intelligence, all emotions are just emotions. Even happiness
and more than fear, I think like we try to hide any kind of display of emotions, be it any emotion.
Be it any, yeah. So I feel it has this conditioning also around like why we want to be worried, because worried is fine. Thoda tension to support, it's like a normal thing. Like Sister Shivani says, no, tension is not normal. But we have taken children being tensed also about their exams is normal nowadays. इतना टेंशन तो चाहिए ना, नहीं तो पढ़ाई कैसे करेगा? क्यों चाहिए? It's not normal. तो ये कहीं ना कहीं ना normal बन गया है कि being worried is okay, no? But being fear, no, fear is not. Fear is bad. So I think somewhere that line of thought or that line of conditioning is also impacting us unknowingly. Like so far, I think in my life I never also thought about this so much before this call. But I see that it is happening to me also many a times. It's cool to be worried, but it's not cool to be
afraid.
In fear. Yeah, afraid.
So many people keep talking about the coronavirus situation, these many deaths there, these many things. So they keep worrying about it. But the stem of that worry is fear only.
Right.
But they will not share that I am afraid. They will not share that I am feeling this, or this situation is making me scared or whatever. They're not talking about that. They're talking about the worry.
Worrying is okay. Worrying.
Yeah, I guess you're right. The worry which they are showing, or the worry which is displaying to us on even news channel and all, it is not to make us afraid of it. It is just to make us aware and understand the seriousness of it and to act accordingly. So I agree to you.
But like for example, if I've also seen when I observed this. Recently, my sister is in one of her like remote places, and they got locked down over there, and they don't have many news channels coming over there. And she was sharing that mostly Doordarshan from where they take news. And her husband is very, very fond of these news channels and the news and the debates and all that. Some people really like that kind of content. So he is one of them. So she was sharing that earlier when he would watch all these news and other things, so there would be a lot of discussions amongst us. That what is it, and we would think about, and this politician said that, and then the discussions would go on tangent also. One thing leads to other. And nowadays she was like, all we have access is to Doordarshan or very basic free kind of channels. So we don't watch TV. All we do is just watch news on very, very basic kind of news, like the Marathi news sometimes and everything. And that has helped him not be worried, because those people only share facts and they have no sensationalizing to it. They have no flavor of worry also to it. They have only facts over there. She was like, actually it is helping us to stay completely with ourselves and not being in the fear. So I also feel like how it is presented to us and is also playing a role. generally, and we are receiving news from so many other places, not only news, any information and any kind of thought process that we are gaining, if it's not sensationalized and put in that worry bit, then it's very different. It's like we don't have much discussions now. We just have basic discussions of what is happening, and we go back to our lives, to our gardening or whatever. Thank you so much, and we'll see you again tomorrow.
Thanks, Pragya. Thanks, Swati.
Sure.
Okay.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Swati.
Bye.
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 Bye.